So let's move on now to the next example. I hope this is clear, amply clear to you. Yes. So the next example for you. Now we move on to the third type of series. So which series have we finished? We finished addition, subtraction, we finished multiplication, division. Now we go to the third type of series, which is squares and cubes. Again, you have the same two type of questions: find the missing number and find the wrong number. So let's start with find the missing number. Let's begin. So let's see the example in front of you, and why don't you attempt it. Now if you see this question, there is 1, then there is a question mark, then there is 9, 16, 25, 36. If you have learnt the squares from 1 to 20, I will repeat again, you need to know all the squares from 1 to 20, and you need to know all the cubes from 1 to 10. So if you know these squares, then when you see these numbers only, immediately something will strike. When you say 9, you know it's 3 square, 16, 4 square, 25, 5 square, 36, 6 square, 7 square is 49, 8 square is 64, so on and so forth. So when you see these numbers, immediately you will be able to figure out the answer. So this is 1 square is 1, this is 3 square, then there is 4 square, 5 square, 6 square. So what number is missing here? The number that is missing here is 2 square. So this should be 4. So 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square and 6 square. Is this clear? So the number that is missing in this question is 4. Now there is also, some of you might have solved it using another method. What is the other method? Very simple. Are these numbers far away from each other or close to each other? 9, 16, 25, 36, they are not very far away, right? You don't have 25 and followed by 100 and 25 or something like that. They are pretty close. So you can even try addition and subtraction. Who knows, that might work. So let's see. The first, second, third terms we can't do anything because of the question mark. But let's move ahead. So 9 plus 7, 16. 16 plus 9, 25. 25 plus 11, 36. Can you see a pattern? Plus 7, plus 9, plus 11, plus 13. So let's go behind. So there is plus 9, then there is plus 7. So what should be now? There should be a plus 5 here. There should be a plus 3 here. So try. 1 plus 3, 4. 4 plus 5, 9. 9 plus 7, 16. Again the same number we will get here. The number is 4. So either you do it using the plus method or you just do it by squares. It's very, very easy. Right? So you should be able to solve this problem. This is clear. So you should definitely know all the squares. It makes your job very easy. You don't have to do anything. You just can see the numbers and solve. Yeah? Very good. Let's move to the next question of the same type of squares and cubes. So why don't you try this question? Okay, so there are two ways of solving this question. Again, it's a squares question, right? So you can do it using either the plus method because the numbers are very close. So you get a plus 3, 2 plus 3, 5, plus 5, 10, plus 7, 17, plus 9, plus 11, plus 13, and so on and so forth. So what should you get here? 17 plus 9. What is that? 26. That's the right answer. But suppose you don't do it using this method, then what is the squares method that we can apply here? So again, it's very easy. See the numbers carefully. 2, 5, 10, 17. Aren't they very close to the squares? What are our squares? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Look at the numbers. Instead of 1 we have 2. Instead of 4 we have 5. Instead of 9 we have 10. So what are we getting? Same squares but plus 1. Right? So what is 2? 2 is nothing but 1 square plus 1. 5 is nothing but 2 square plus 1. 10 is nothing but 3 square plus 1. 17 is nothing but 4 square plus 1. So tell me what's the next number? 5 square plus 1. So what is 5 square plus 1? 26. Same answer. Right? So even if we solve using this method, then also we can get the right answer. So always remember, in squares and cubes, you should know the number plus 1 and minus 1. Okay? So a lot of times they will give you a square plus 1 or a square minus 1. You should be comfortable with that kind of question. So let's move to the next question then. Okay, so squares is done. Why don't you try this one? Okay, so let's begin. Now see if the gaps are big or small. So 1 and you have 8, then there's a question mark, then there's a 64, there's a 125, and there's 216. So the numbers are increasing fast. But if you try to do it using multiplication, you will get stuck because you will not be able to solve it, right? Because this is not a multiplication question. Right? So how do we identify this? Very simple. If you know all the cubes from 1 to 10, then your life is very easy. What is 1 cube? 1. 2 cube? 2 cube means 2 into 2, 4 into 2, 8. So you have 1, you have 8. Then there is a question mark. 4 cube? 4 into 4, 16 into 4, 64. 5 cube? 5 into 5, 25. Then you get 125. 6 cube? 6 into 6, 36. Then you get 216. So you should remember these cubes. So this is 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube. What is 3 cube? No, it's not 9. 3 into 3, 9, into 3, 27. So this is 3 cube, 4 cube, 5 cube, 6 cube. So the answer is 27. So how did we solve this? Using cubes. How can we solve this in the exam correctly? If we know all the cubes between 1 and 10, we will be able to easily identify that this is a cubes question. Is this clear? Excellent. Let's move ahead to the next question. Why don't you attempt this by your own self for the next few seconds? Shit. पांडे जी गड़बड़ है क्वेश्चन में. So let's look at this question, right? There are different, the numbers are 2, 7, 28, 62, 126, 215. Now how will we be able to solve this question? Or how will we be able to know it's a cubes question? Right? This is a cubes question. How do we know this? So the hints will always be in the big numbers, not the small ones. A small number like 2, there is no hint in it because 2 can be what? 2 can be 1 square plus 1, 2 can be 1 cube plus 1, it could be 2 into 1. There are so many things. But the moment you look at a number like 215, what is 215? Immediately, if you know the cubes really well, you will know 6 cube is 216. Then 215 is very easy. If you look at 126, what is 126? So 5 cube is 125. So that means it's very close to 5 cube. This is close to 5 cube. This is close to 6 cube, and that's it. Now you've got the hint. Now let's start solving. Right? So let's start solving this in reverse. That will make our life easier. So let's see. What is 215? So if we look at 215, two one five is nothing but 6 cube, 216 minus 1. What is 126? So let's look at what is 126. Let me just clear this up for you. So what is 126? 5 cube is 125. So this is 5 cube plus 1. So this is 6 cube, this is 5 cube. So next should be 4 cube. What is 4 cube? 4 cube is 64. So this is 4 cube minus 2. Then look at 28. So this should be next to 3 cube. So 3 cube is 27. So this is 3 cube plus 1. So this should be close to 2 cube. 2 cube is 8. So this is 2 cube minus 1. And this is close to 1 cube. 1 cube plus 1. So see what we are getting? 1 cube plus 1. 2 cube minus 1. 3 cube plus 1. 4 cube minus 1, 5 cube plus 1, 6 cube minus 1. This would have been right. Where is the problem? There is a 4 cube minus 2. This is the problem. So this number 62 is the answer because it's the wrong number in the series. Have you understood this? Right? So always these big numbers. The moment I say 344, you should know 343 means 7 cube. So this is 7 cube plus 1. 511. So 512 is 8 cube. So this is 8 cube minus 1. How will we know this? Again and again, I repeat, you should know all the cubes between 1 to 10 at your fingertips. If somebody asks you 9 cube, you should not need to calculate. You should remember, right? So 1 cube to 10 cube you should definitely know, right? Then it becomes very easy. These squares and cubes become a cakewalk. So know all the cubes from 1 to 10, know all the squares from 1 to 25. Okay, now let's move ahead. This is the next question, right? So why don't you give it a try? Okay, let's begin. Is 6 close to any? So where are the hints? Generally the small numbers are the big numbers. The big numbers, right? So let's begin from the big number. Which is the biggest number here? 145. Is 145 close to any square? It's close to 12 square, right? Any cube it's close to. So if you look at the closest cube is 125, which is far away. Then take a number like 60. Is 60 close to any square? There is either 64, so there is a gap of 4, or maybe which is the other square close to 60. So 7 square is 49, so there is a gap of 11, right? So if you see all the numbers, you are not getting any relation. Some numbers are close to squares, some numbers are not close to squares. So you get stuck. So what do you do, right? So instead, let's look at the numbers. Are they very close to each other or very far from each other? 6, 10, little close. 10, 19, still close. 19, 35, still it's not very far away. It's not like after 19 you have 95 or 100. So they're pretty close, right? So let's try and see if we can do it by addition or subtraction, right? So you have seen squares and cubes here, but let's try this with addition and subtraction and see what is happening. Let's see. So from 6 to 10, how do you get? Plus 4. 10 to 19, plus 9. 19 to 35, plus 16. 35 to 60, plus 25. See what is happening? 4, 9, 16, 25, and that's your hint. So this is 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square, right? So 6 plus 2 square gives 10. 10 plus 3 square gives 19. 3 square gives 19. 19 plus 4 square gives 35. 35 plus 5 square gives 60. 60 plus 6 square should give you the question mark. 60 plus 6 square is 36. So it gives us a total of 96. So the question mark should be 96. So what kind of question was this? Was this a pure squares and cubes? No. What we did here was we combined squares and cubes with addition, right? So plus 4, plus 9, plus 16, plus 25, plus 36, plus 49. So in this way we are combining squares and cubes along with addition and subtraction, right? So there can be a combination kind of a question asked to you in the exam. Is this clear? Yes? Excellent. So now comes the big question mark, right? Now when we started this question we thought it must be only squares, cubes, but then we came to addition, subtraction. So in exam, how do we figure out? How do we figure out whether it is addition, subtraction, whether it's square, cubes, whether it's multiplication, division? If you are able to figure this, only then you will be able to solve the question. Why? Because they will not write this is an addition series, solve it. This is a subtraction series, solve it. They will not write that for you. You have to figure that out. And only if you are able to figure that out, you will be able to solve this question.